All right, today I'm going to discuss how to think of the future as a software engineer. Maybe I'll have to caveat it as a freelance software engineer because that is exactly what I do, right? I don't think, not I don't think, I am a freelance software engineer. But this is something that even I struggle with. I've been thinking of it and I putting work behind my thoughts for years. So it's not something with the snap of a finger that you know you can just figure out just that way. So I think this is going to do primarily for software engineers. Yeah. Now, the truth is, this our work as software engineers is, how do I explain? This picky, like especially if you're a freelancer. Yeah, you might be earning a good amount of money, but there comes a time whereby, no matter how much you're earning, you would rather not just have to deal with uh, working on somebody else's idea. It just happens. You now start feeling like, can't you come up with an idea? Can't you do this? Can't you do that? Or which is valid. And to be honest, I've felt that even multiple times. There's too many highs and lows. Um, I'm somebody that loves working with clients, right? But at the same time, um, there'll come a point where you'll be like, fight. Maybe the revisions are just crazy, or they just paid you and they want to start changing the project scope. You just like, this is exhausting. Yeah, for sure. It comes a time it gets exhausted, right? And you now be thinking, is this what I'm going to do on the next 30 years? Now, the truth is, I have come to the realization that yes, it is what I'll do for the net for as long as it can allow me to, but at a different level, at a different game. Do you get? Because I look at this whole thing as a game. For me, it's a game. It's not really. it becomes more interesting as a game as opposed to just looking at it as real life. It is real life, but I'm just giving my honest perspective. I feel like it is a game. There's a way to play the game, right? And I don't. As the more I age as a freelance software developer, the more the game becomes clearer in a way to me. Now, one of the most important things that I have noticed is the more options you have, the more money you make. What I mean is, the more options you are making money from, the more money you make as a freelancer. And when those options are no longer there, you earn less. It's funny, it's strange, right? I make the most money from freelancing when I have other clients trying to get my time to do their projects for them. When I have no clients, yeah, it kind of makes sense in a way now. You don't actually get anybody trying to bid for your time. So people, any money they give you, sometimes you can take it, right? So this is what I'm going to, this is the game plan I have seen that has kind of, it works. It's just that it takes a long time. As you make some money on freelancing, don't rush to use that money to be buying gadgets, buying sneakers, buying phone. Pile that money up. I'm telling you that this might save your life. So pile the money up, right? And excuse me, some down, right? Pile the money up and look for what you can invest that money into. I know people keep saying, invest more into your business, and if your business is making more money, keep pouring more money into that business. That's valid, but don't get it twisted. If you're a freelance software engineer, you're not running a business. This is not a business. And that's where I see a lot of people get that confusion from. They think that as a freelance software engineer, you are running a business. You are self-employed. You are not running a business. If as a freelance software engineer, I load you up with 50 people that wants you to develop a project for them, you will break down automatically. It's not even possible at the same time. So that is self-employment. It's not a business, right? That's why I say pile the money up. Don't think putting all that money back into, let's say, promotions to get more people is going to make you more money. It might lose everything. You have to look for a business that you can do without you being gay. But that is where the hard part is, to be very honest with you. Whether offline or online, right? Find something you can invest that money into. If you say you want to do stocks and bonds or treasury bills and all, it's fine, but just know how much you're getting in return so that inflation does not just eat up your entire resources. It's very, very important to know that. I'm not saying look for a way you can sink your costs or sink your costs, right? Like maybe building properties, that might take a very long time. And it might make you work yourself to the bone to the point that you might not finish the marathon, right? Anybody that knows me knows that I always keep saying freelance software development is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're not running to anywhere. The longer you stay and you are fit for it, the more you preserve yourself to make more money. Is like, I used to think it's a marathon when I'm 30, I'm not coding anybody for anybody. But I've changed my mindset regarding that. It's a huge, a very, very long marathon. But when I look back and see most people that run a self-employed agency, accountants, dentists, all these people that own private hospitals, they look at it in a long, very long term, right? They're not looking at it in a short term in any way. It's majorly long term, right? And no matter how old they are, those that preserve their body for it are the ones that end up enjoying all the benefits. So don't crack yourself down. Just look for something where if you invest this money, you can manage it maybe twice or thrice in a week. You can make sure you look at it, ensure that things are going, and keep it pushing. Now, there's another angle where you can say that you employ other developers. I did that and I failed. I will not lie to you here. I failed woefully at it because I'm a software engineer and I know what can be done. And I ended up saying that it was taking more time from me and I was actually losing money at the end of the day. But you can try it out, you see, right? I don't want to discourage you on that. But one thing I hate about our business really is that you are tied to the surplus of other people. Other people, your clients has to have enough money to fund you. Unlike something like food now, it doesn't matter whether you are rich or poor or anything, you have to pit. It's compulsory that you have to pit. There are some businesses that is a must. It does not matter your condition, right? But in our business, right, it's not that way. It is more like a luxury. If I'm being honest, it's more like a luxury as opposed to a basic need. So think about that very, very well before you try to invest huge amount of money as a self-employed freelance software developer. I'm saying this because I have done it and I have realized that it is not really the way. You might spend ₦1 million on ads and you not get anybody. You might even get people. You might get a lot of people, but nobody is willing to pay you what you want in that. And you might spend 20,000 and you get somebody that will give you 3 million. It's a very crazy business, right? It does not have like a formula structure to it on a short term though. But if you spend that amount of money on a long term, let's say you're spending $1 million in a you definitely make profit. That's for sure. But you see, you want to now try to push that into a month. My brother, or my sister, you might lose your entire resource, right? As I keep saying, what we have, if you're listening to me, is not a business. You just need to be honest with yourself. I had to get honest with myself for real. And I was like, okay, this is not a business. This is more like an expensive hobby. Because I like to cook. And when thinking of the future, you don't want your food or what you need to survive to be dependent on other people. You need to look at it like a hobby, like an expensive hobby. something whereby is I don't get anybody willing to pay me for 3 months and do. And in order for you to achieve that, you need to have a business that you are running. That's why I said when you start out, pile as much money as you can and invest that money into a business that will give you some money every month. You have to keep doing it till it gives you enough money that can sustain your living. And to be honest, it's not. A lot of people have a very expensive lifestyle. That's granted. Yeah, to each his own. But you have to find, or if you want to get this to work for you in a long term, this is, I'm giving you from my own personal experience. This is not the Bible. Right? For a long term, right, you need to have a lifestyle that you can sustain. Let's say, for example, if your business is giving you monthly profit of 400,000 naira, that is the maximum lifestyle you can sustain. If it is a CSS, they say that's your max width. That you cannot exceed that point, right? So you need to find your lifestyle and lock your lifestyle to that point till that business upgrades the amount of money that is bringing in for you given month, right? It is bringing you a minimum of $1 million where you're not doing anything. That is your max width. It's your decision whether you want to now expand the business further or match your lifestyle to that 1 million naira. So you need to think of it that way, such that if the client doesn't come for like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, we are good because your business is giving you money to sustain your lifestyle, right? And you need to always think ahead. If you're somebody that is not yet married and you're planning on getting married, marriage brings a lot of expenses. You need to now start thinking about your businesses to increase this value in terms of how much is bringing in per month, right? And always keep it at the back of your head that freelance software development is an expensive hobby. It's not actually a business. I think when I realized that is when everything changed for me in terms of me looking at it in with different lights. Right? But I've always known that it's not a long-term something. Yeah, I could think I've said this story on YouTube before here that, but the day it dawned on me fully was when I fell sick. I was not fit. I was really, I was down bad and I was living alone. Only me. And I could not work on project and I could not earn. There was no money because obviously for me to earn, I have to finish the client's project. So the client was gracious enough to give me time to recover. But obviously he would pay me. And that's when it dawned on me that I have to work for me to eat all the time. And that was when my eyes started looking at business. Thankfully, I have some, but remember, as your life grows, as you go in age, that ceiling on what your business is bringing for you in a month increases. Inflation, so many other things. I remember in 2019, I used to get a loaf of bread for 15 naira. Now it is 2,000, right? So if your max ceiling in 2019 in your business is, let's say, 250,000, it should not still be 250,000 6 years for 2019. So you need to focus on taking the money from your self-employment, which is what freelancing is really, and putting it into the business so that the business grows. And look for a business that frees your time. Because if you have two things like software engineering, software development, right, and a business that it needs your time all the time, for example, farming, and I've not seen any successful farmer that is not really invested time-wise into the farm. I've not seen anyone. You want to be a successful farmer, you must. And farming is something I love, but I cannot split the time because and software engineering is a funny, like I said, if you look at it from the outside looking at it, it can be very funny. You can go for 6 months without having a client, that you can have a client that will just pay you 8 million, 4 million, right? Or another one, you can go for 3 months hiatus, somebody gives you 50 million project. It happens. You can be getting 300K project, and all of a sudden you get 7 million project. So, I enjoy it, but the problem is if you start looking at it as your entire dependency, you're dependent fully on it, then that is where the problem starts coming in. It starts creeping in from there, right? So think of the future. Thinking of the future as a software engineer is simple. Especially if you are doing freelancing, look for businesses that money you have, you can put into it, seed it, and it gives you no paid profit. It does not matter how much it is, and just grow it from there. If you look at any business and you feel like that business is not giving you compared to like investing in stocks, safe. I don't mean like stocks that go high and low. I mean like maybe treasury bills, bonds, ETFs, Vanguard, what do they call it? S&P 500, right? You can now, if it's not giving you more than that, I'll even suggest you go with those ones. But if you have a business that will give you more than that, you switch to the rest, right? Right. So think carefully before you invest. So you don't lose. It's hard enough making money as a software engineer. So don't try and lose all your entire savings. I've seen a lot of very good software engineers that make a lot of money, but they don't have any savings. They spend all their money like the software engineering is going to be here for a very long time, and they'll have. It might be here for a long time. But would you have the image? That is the most important thing. I can see how my body is changing. I'm just 30. I just did 30 this May 2025. The way I was coding in 2017 and 2016 and 2018, I cannot even dream of doing it now. There was a point in my life, which is funny, that I coded for 36 hours. 36 hours. That's a day and a half. I can't even dream of coding now for 12 hours straight. It's not possible. I can't start thinking of that idea because I don't have that image. I would be if I code for 10 hours now, at least currently now, 10 hours is the max I can do. From 9 o'clock till 7 the evening. I can do that, 10 hours. But anything apart from that is now going to be a problem. Right? I mean, maybe need to take 2 or 3 hours break and continue. And even if I'll continue, highest 3 hours, 4 hours, and I'm done. Right? But I remember back in 2018, 2019, even part of 2020, I was a beast. I was coding for us. I could sit down on my laptop and code for like a full day. I remember it was a big issue back then, even with my family. It was not easy for them to see. But that was what I could do. But now I don't have the energy. Now imagine when I'm 40, right? Cool. So thank God for platforms now coming up that are helping with coding. I'm doing more of architectural work now. It's because I am way experienced. I know what to put in, like ChatGPT Codex, all these platforms that are coming in now. They are really, really making our work turn into an architectural kind of work, right? I think this is a long video, but I think you get the point, yeah? To think of the future as a software engineer. Our work is more volatile than people doing welding, than people doing carpentry, than people doing farming especially. Everybody needs food. People in real estate, they kind of have the most secured stance. But with the way AI is moving left, right, center, if you're a software engineer thinking of just today, you need to start changing. You need to start thinking of the future. The future. Like, if software engineer goes down, what do I do? And if you start making good amount of money, spread that money. You should not rely on just one business, right? Put your money into another business and figure out how you can diversify that money, because the main thing is the software engineering. Like I always say, that is where the bulk is now today currently. But once you get that bulk, you can invest some part of that money back into that software engineering. I'm not saying take all the entire money, right? I want to be very, very clear because I still run ads till today. To invest some part of that money back, but not all. The mistake I see is you invest the entire money back, and it's just like putting yourself in I forgot what they call it. That thing that rats are running in a cycle, hamster wheel. Yeah, you just keep feeding your annoyance with the thing, because you now be like, Jesus, I need to I need to get a client, I need to make some money, I need to get a client, I need to make some money. Because if you put your money into running ads in huge quantity and you don't get the clients within that time span, let's say you put $1 million in a month and you don't get people that pay you more than that for you to make a profit. And to be honest, your time and labor within that time span, it's not like you're selling goods or services. It needs to be measurable, right? It can easily put you into depression. Just, I'm saying this because I've been there and I've done it. It's not cho. It's not like I have done it, so I know. So you can maybe, if you make $1 million, you can take like 200 kids. Yeah, run advert for the month. The remaining, visit you, start up the business. I'm not here to tell you which business to start. That's where the thinking for you goes into. Meet not simple. Which business am I going to do? Remember, the key word is, unless you don't want to be doing freelance software engineering for a long time, if you want to do it for a very long time, the key word here is a business that you might take up with time. A business that will just bring the monthly revenue. I'm not saying annual, unless maybe you want to wait for a 2 year. Monthly revenue, like every month something is sitting in your bank account, right? And can sustain your lifestyle. Important. If your lifestyle is at a 2 million naira and your business is bringing 200K, you can grow it to that point, or you can reduce your lifestyle. The choice is yours. I'm just telling you how I look at it now. And thank God I'm looking at it this way compared to how I'm looking at it 3-4 years ago. It was possible. So, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.